Hi everyone, it's studio day. I'm Pamela Poole and I live an amazing life as an artist and an author. I have a new addition to my studio. I'd like to introduce Daisy Doodle, the studio poodle. And Daisy has her own little daisy on my palette in my studio now. She wasn't a planned addition to my studio. Daisy came about because of therapy, not from me, although some of you probably think I need it. Daisy came about because I wanted to purchase a therapy pet, stuffed animal, for a memory care patient that I know. And I wanted to also be able to relate to that person with her new adventures with her therapy pet. If you don't know, I did a lot of research, and if you don't know about this, memory care centers find a lot of value in using stuffed animals, baby dolls, and that sort of thing in the memory care centers. They're very comforting. I made sure to get one that had weighted paws. Daisy can either stand up because of the weighted paws, or she can sit down, but she feels very comfortable on my arm as well. She has enough weight to feel like a real animal. And I couldn't quite swing a robotic dog, which is another therapy pet that is used, that is popular in some of the memory care centers. Maybe if I sell a few paintings, you can go to my website at pamelapoole.com. Maybe I can come up with the funds to be able to have a robotic studio dog. If you're wondering, well, why not just get a real dog? I'm allergic to animals, so I don't do pets. And not only that, maybe the Lord wired me to be able to accept this because not only am I allergic to them and it would make me sick to be around pets, but also I don't want to be a slave. And I've raised my kids. So I am ready to paint. I'm ready to do some things that fulfill me and satisfy me, and that doesn't include cleaning up after dogs when we go for a walk and that kind of thing. So Daisy doesn't slobber. She does have a little tongue to give me a kiss, but she doesn't slobber. She doesn't shed. She doesn't need a bath. She's very clean. And she came with a little bandana. It was much tinier than this, and it had some little teeny tiny little stenciled flowers on it. But I wanted her to make a good debut in my studio. So I got out the sewing machine and some scraps of fabric that I had that had daisies. This has outlines of daisies if you want to see that. And as you see, my little tag that I like to use on handmade sewing items I do, it says made with love. I bought buttons because this original Daisy Poodle has rosebuds in her ears, really pretty little satin rosebuds. Excuse me. And they're beautiful, but they didn't fit my Daisy persona. And so I bought little buttons and I sewed them on top of the rosebuds so that if I ever want to just pick a couple of threads out, I have rosebuds in her ears again. Now, the memory care patient that I purchased this for still has the rosebuds in their ears. They are using these for a personal comfort and therapy, not for show business. Like this Daisy is in show business now because of my probably very little seen YouTube channel, but and blog. But she's making her debut today, and I want to explain to you that having her in my studio, it does help me with being able to relate to the person that I purchased another one for, who has a different one, But, and that's important as well in our conversations. But also, Daisy is going to be a reminder to me when I come in my studio not to just launch into my latest project on the easel. Like, I'm driven to finish this. It's a deadline and I have an exhibit, or, something like that. We let all kinds of things get in the way of enjoying our creativity and of us improving as artists. And Daisy is going to help me master that because her name is Daisy Doodle. That was intentional. I want her to remind me to sketch, to relax, to sketch, to draw, to doodle. Doodles are important. Teachers probably think it's a waste of time when you doodle in class, right? Because you're supposed to be focusing. But some people focus better when they're doodling. So if you keep them purposeful doodles, that there's a good element to doodling. Daisy is helping me also remember that October is a great time to launch her because it's Inktober. And if you're a hobbyist, or if you maybe you're a grandma who has a grandchild who loves to sketch or doodle or do creative things, look into Inktober on the internet. You can find, like, the main site. It will tell you like some parameters about what to do for Inktober. You can choose to draw daily. That would be the ideal. I think that's what they really would like you to do. I am probably not going to be a daily inker, but I am trying to use this month of October to improve my skills, my drawing skills, my visual skills of seeing something, turning it into a proportion that works, and that sort of thing. So I am going to do as much as I can. And so Daisy's reminding me of that commitment. When I walk in, she's sitting there and her name is Daisy Doodle, which means, okay, did I doodle yet today or last night? And because of that, I want to show you what I have been doodling for Inktober. Now in Inktober, they will give you on the website some prompts. It's like a word list for each day in October. And you can choose an idea if you're stuck. I am never stuck. My problem is that I never get stuck. I am wanting to start the next thing. I am always visualizing the next painting. I have so many ideas, and a vast resource of reference photos I've taken over many years that I thought some element of this will be good for a future painting or drawing or an idea in a book, because remember, I'm also a novelist and I am working on my next novel, and that will actually be in one of my Inktober drawings I'm getting ready to show you. So I'm going to sit little Miss Daisy up here. And she can stand up, but let's just make her sit. I'll show you how she sits. All right, sit, Daisy. Okay, she's being a good girl. All right, and I'll show you how I've been a good girl too by doing my Inktober commitment this year. I haven't committed to anything like that except for writing. I've done the NaNoWriMo writing thing. We went to Jensen Beach for vacation this year. It was not the week that we always take for vacation. We ran into a lot of issues this year where availability was just not there. We gave ourselves a 4-state parameter and 4 weeks, and nothing was available. Our first choice was either Naples or Sanibel Island, because I love the Gulf Coast. Well, if we had gotten our first choice of Naples or Sanibel or that Tampa area this week, the past week, which was our anniversary week, well, you know what happened, right? Hurricane Ian, yeah. Well, yes, it came up here too, but we hardly had any impact from it, except some wind in the yard, palm limbs down. If we had planned what we usually do for our annual anniversary vacation, we would not have been down there, or we would have evacuated, and that would have been a big mess as well. So we do pray about where we go every year, and we ask the Lord to guide that process. And he chose the availability, and he did good, didn't he? Sometimes you get to see why the Lord closes the door to your first choice, or why something didn't work out. Now, you don't always get to see it. That was one of these times that we could see it. But you just have to trust him. Just walk with him wherever he's leading you, and trust that there's a reason that he closed a door. So we went to Jensen Beach on the Atlantic side a couple of weeks ago. And we had never been there. We didn't know what to encounter. We just knew, okay, this is where we're supposed to go, so we're going to go there. And the water was gorgeous. Oh, it was so gorgeous. It was like sea glass. You know, the waves were like the color of greenish aqua sea glass. So beautiful. And I have a bunch of shells now to be able to make a craft with that I didn't have before, because here in Hilton Head, I love to walk the beach. We have a great beach for walking, which they didn't really have in Jensen. It was kind of mushy, but we have no shells, very few shells, and if what we do have are not very interesting. And so that was a great time for me to gather some shells. And I did, my first Inktober sketch was this little seagull on the beach there at Jensen Beach. So I did be productive, and I had an inspiration that I didn't even have to go back into my vault of photos for. Now, the next one I did have to go into my vault of pictures. I'm writing a novella, and something bizarre happens to a main character in the book. And this character is an elderly person that has retired from being an explorer or adventurer in places most people would never go, and a guide to lead other people, like missionaries into lost tribes areas. And so I wanted to have a drawing for the middle inside of that book. And so I had taken this photo last year in Florida at a big hotel there, and it was set up, I think, kind of as a part of a Halloween type thing, which we don't participate in, but the adventure setting was what I was looking for, and it was a pith helmet and that sort of thing. So I did this one last night from a photo that I took in Florida last year. And it will probably, if not this particular drawing, it will at least be a springboard for something that's going to go into an illustration into my next novella, which is called The Dark Passage. So be watching for that to come up as well. So that is it for today. I've got so much to do, and I am off to whatever I need to do next in my studio. But I just wanted to introduce my new studio pet and introduce you to Inktober, which may be something that you want to try, or you may have loved ones, grandchildren, or your kids. Introduce them to Inktober and the idea of sketching something, if not daily, maybe weekly, and brainstorm for ideas, or use their list on the Inktober site. All right, I will have to get to my schedule today, and I want to say go out, do something creative, something that will help you to make the world a better place, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.